Very good evening and welcome to the Havelock Sports Ground, lit up in all its glory. 100 years of tradition here at Havelocks, and with me in the commentary box is a gentleman who's seen more than his fair share of the glory days in the pink and chocolate jersey. SW Chang joining me for this centenary game between CR&FC and Havelocks, which Irshad Kader has got underway here under the floodlights at the Havies. So 100 years of tradition, SW, and Havelocks used to be the glamour team, and you played your part in those glamour teams. Tell us a little bit more about the history and what we can expect today as a showcase of those 100 years.
Yeah, hi, good evening. Shanaka, I think today's game, of course, they will play at a different level, different atmosphere totally, because it's just an exhibition match. Having said that, coming back, I think, yes, that's right. In 1981 was the last time we won a triple. And it's good to see all those players who back then who played for Havelocks and the coach, Jeff Ratnam, here for celebrating 100 years. As we see, CR making a very strong run down the flank. Havies have stolen it. And Kader has his hand on for a knock-on. And coming back to that, yeah, because that team, 81, captained by Angelo Vikramaratne, and the entire, it's nice to see like people like Andrew Vanoff, Beverly Dickow, and Ronald Rodrigo, if you see the names that have been here. And then also, I was told that, I now met him, Glenn Van Langenberg is also here.
That's a name I remember my parents mentioning often. I was 3 years old the last time you won the triple SW, but some of these names very familiar, of course. The president of the Sri Lanka Rugby Football Union, Michael Jayasekara, also, who proudly donned this jersey and the national jersey in 1981, and even prior to that, as we see the new cap for Havelocks, Lasindu Ishan breaking away from the base, making good ground, the former Science College captain. Cutting in is Govinda Disanayaka there, and now Meedin gives it to Sadun Herath. It's Rehan Thiagaraj actually in the centers. Sadun Herath due to fly out later tonight with the Sri Lanka Sevens team. And several Havelocks first team members making up that Sevens squad. So Havelocks fielding a rather depleted side, unfortunately. The timing of this game may have been a little better in that regard. But another man who fronts up against his old team, Ganidu Lakshan at the front of that line out there. And a small taster, a teaser if you will, Changa, what we can expect the rest of this season.
Yeah, it seems that the clubs are still recruiting, and they have recruited some schoolboys who have done well from Royal, St. Peter's, Trinity, and Science, of course, from their lot. And I think it will be going to be a very close game. And I'm not sure about the components, about how the foreign players, whether they will allow foreign players this year or not. As you see, a massive big hit by the CR forwards, Noor, the skipper, offloading to Hettiarachi, finding the touch line, taken into touch, Barley in touch. And I think it will be a very close game this season. We hopefully it will be, because the names don't matter. What matters is how they perform on the field.
Might be a more level playing field actually if we don't have foreign players. We see the Forces side back in things. Ganidu Lakshan winning his first line out. Wasaba Senarath winning his first line out a little while earlier for Sia. But that's not straight. So skipper Ishan Noor, who's back wearing the captain's armband SW for Sia after he relinquished it last year. But Havelocks will have quite a few younger players. Umesh Madhushan, the Royalist, binding down in the second row, and Ranga Pereira, an ex-Royalist, with him. Both now ex-Royalists, of course, but Ranga played in the 2009 side. Probably the best side since Umesh's side of 2015, just a few months ago. Arun Kumar controls it at the back. Dilan Pereira. Tarendra Atwata gets hammered from behind, but he'd released the ball already. That's a good set of hands down to the wing, but letting themselves down outside. Big hit up the middle from Govinda Disanayaka. Tyagaraja plays at first receiver and dots the ball just over the head of Mekalanka Prabodha. Ratwata had run back to cover but had overrun the ball. So interesting to see Tarinda Ratwata in CR colours for the first time as well. Rohita Rajapaksa also playing on the open side flank for Havelock. So some interesting names. Liston Karunathilaka sporting his brand new afro. So lots going on, SW, and this club, I mean, it has been a haven for schoolboy talent right from back in the day. It was home to St. Thomas's, then to St. Peter's, now to Isipatana, and now again to St. Peter's. So it has been a happy traveling ground for a lot of the school talent.
Yeah, that's right, including Lumbini, the neighboring schools. They have the club has given luxury. Tarinda Ratwata has the ball in front, but I think referee has spotted very well, or he's playing advantage here of coming into the line out mall on the side. But when Tarinda put the ball up in the air, the co-center, is it Ashanti Costa, was it? Rehan Silva was way in front of the kicker, and the referee was spot on to spot that. Yes, Tarinda Ratwata, I thought he played a couple of games last year, didn't he? No. Oh, one game, that's right. Okay, one game. Yeah, and then he went to New Zealand for higher studies, and good to see him back in his father's old club.
Couldn't recognize him. He's lost the schoolboy look that he used to have with his new facial hair. That was Banu Kananayakara, my apologies, SW, that chased that kick up. Wasaba Senarath trying to win it at the front, but knocking on, and Liston Karunathilaka wrestling the ball off him. Meedin waits at fly half, but the ball is put up quickly by Andrew Benson. Taken by Prince Chamara, Mekalanka Pramodha. Now stepping back inside is Sashan Mohammed. Slightly built but strong on his feet. Dilan waits. Straight through the line out comes Ranga Pereira, but the referee said that the tackler was being held on. So a competitive season expected, SW, no clear call on the foreign recruits, but I think a lot of the clubs, majority of them actually will enjoy not having to shoulder that financial burden of foreign players this year.
Yeah, I know, because they're not taken a decision as yet, because I was told that they're meeting on the 5th of this month to take a call on that, make a call on that. It's a question not about the financial burden. I think it's a question whether that will help Sri Lankan rugby, or what are the advantages of having foreign players to play alongside, or number of players that they can curtail, 1, 2, or whatever it is.
Umesh Madhushan winning his first club rugby line-out. Kanindu Disanayaka carries the ball strongly. They've got a penalty coming the home side. Meedin gives it to Liston, who has carried the ball quite a bit already in this first half. Benson to Rajapaksa. Lovely ball out to Umesh Madhushan. Now stepping back inside is Sandun Herath, who'd want to make a mark before he gets on the plane this evening. Here's Meedin again to Kanindu Disanayaka. Swiveling out of one tackle. Good technique by the former Isipatana prop. Here's Meedin again. Staying strong on his feet. Over the top goes Arun Kumar, but the referee spotted an infringement. Not releasing the tackle player is the call. He's made that twice already. And an improvement, SW, in the standard of refereeing, I think, over the last few months. And as a former referee yourself, you must have been happy at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm happy at that, because Shanak, I think the whatever the committee that is handling the management of the referees are doing a good job. I mean, maybe they call it an interim committee or appointed by the rugby union, but yeah, you're right. And the refereeing standard has, of course, been stable, and of course, there's more room for improvement. But at least they're on the right track and the right path, because we need referees. and that's something which we have to look at very strongly. And they're on the right track, and I agree with you.
Lining up, this kick is Rehan Thiagaraja. Played his trade at St. Joseph's before joining Havelocks. Very talented utility back. Playing at fly half mainly today. He's listed at centre, but finding himself at first receiver, but puts this one well wide. Fumbled in the in-goal area by Wasaba Senarath, but no damage done. Prince Chamara playing at fullback today, turning out in the CR jersey as well. Tarinder Ratwatta urging the CR forwards to get behind the ball, and he goes towards Thusita Samarasekara, runs across field, held up nicely in the tackle by Sasanka Aryaratna. Sasanka Aryaratna combining with Joel Tilakaratna, former Wesley flanker. Joel Pereira rather. Quick hands by Havelocks, but CR's defense up quickly. Ishan Noor, good tackle on him. And now Wasaba Senarath has it, goes on a run of his own. Ratwatta trying to go on his own, didn't find the support that he needed outside him. And now here's the prop forward Nipuna Devinder. Likes to have a run on the flank. Sashan Mohammed. Yes, it is the same Devinder. You've got to tell us that story, SW.
Yeah, I heard Nipuna Devinder because I had a close run with him because he was just training with us at the Carlton Sevens with the Western Warriors. And the story is that he got knocked down by a train. And it's a true story. And nothing happened to him. There were no injuries. And I told him, I'd like to see the train before I see you.
That's one for the ages, SW, as Ratwatta lines up CR's first chance at points after Thiagaraja had missed at the other end. What's your most memorable moment in the Havelocks jersey, SW? What would you say it was?
If you ask me the most memorable, I was a substitute reserve for Havelocks, and my first A Division match called up as a reserve at Army grounds against Navy. As you see, Ratwatta's kick. He got the distance, but not the direction. I was actually warming up, and with the team and all those things, and then suddenly I was told that you're on. So I was a bit surprised, and then I looked around to see Isham Abdin failed to turn up, and I had to go in to replace him. Of course, there was a shift. I had to come as prop, and then Orville as second row forward. And if you remember, Priyantha Devapriya made the debut too because Len Silva also failed to turn up that evening. And we both made our debuts, and that's a memorable debut, of course. And the scores were 0-0 at halftime, so they had to take me out and send in Isham Abdin, who scored 3 tries, and we won the game 18-0.
Well, that's a good story, SW, unforgettable one indeed. Especially when playing alongside the likes of the great Hisham Abdin. Kevin Dixon getting involved in the game for the first time, the Pete Wright skipper from earlier this year. And now here's another one, another Pete Wright going through, breaking through. Is Sandun Herath looking for support. Finally brought to ground and squeezing the ball out. Great technique from the Sri Lanka winger. And here's Liston Karunatilaka. Standing start, so he gets pummeled. But now they've got some depth through Meedin. Meedin gives the inside ball, but a good tackle made by Joel Pereira. And looks like there was a penalty coming, holding on to the ball. So Pereira has made a good start to his club career. He has been on the sidelines at CR for a while, but showing some potential here. But Sadun Herat, such a dangerous player, SW, and Havelocks have been blessed with some great wingers over time. I can't remember, of course, in your time we had people like Glenn van Langenberg who played at fullback. Well, much earlier than you, but still really big names. And then we had Sanjeeva Jayasinghe, who really took the club rugby scene by storm, and now Sadun Herat is carrying on.
Yeah, it's Havelocks are much blessed, very blessed to have a winger of that nature. And then he used to combine so well with ThePapare. As soon as they left school, and Havelocks had the luxury of both wingers playing like, in hand like machine. And coming back to, yes, Glenn Van Langenberg played long time before Shanaka, and I think with the time that Lionel Almeida and the crowd played. And we also have Len Silva. I don't know whether you remember, Len played for St. Peter's, and played for Havelocks and played for Sri Lanka. He was a brilliant center. He just ran circles around every other opponent. I'll come back to an incident of him because Chandrashan is still looking for the ball. I'll come back to you in a minute.
Ball put forward by Sashan Mohammed and then stolen by Havelocks. Mekalanka Pramod does really well to get back, but a superb chase by Havelocks there, managing to wrest the ball back, and now the Havies team have some momentum, but looks like they've lost it forward. That was a real shame because Havelocks looked like they were about to score the first try of the game. Superb chase by Randita Varnapura on Mekalanka Pramoda, who did really well to get back the Isipatana speedster. Varnapura, though, stayed calm, stayed on the ball, stayed focused, and managed to wrest the ball back from him and almost went under the post himself. So a tiny mistake, but it's very early season. It's not even pre-season, really. So obviously these little touches can't be expected from teams, especially not from the place kickers as well, who are yet to hone their targets. Good to see the Pete Wrights out in full force today. Sadun Herat, Kevin Dixon at 14 and 15. Danushka Ranjan, also Sri Lanka's superstar. Packing his bags at home, probably waiting to get on that plane. And then Meedin, also Irfat Meedin, played for St. Peter's. Impressive scrum by Sia, but illegally so. They engaged early, says referee Carter, and that's a cardinal mistake under the posts. And Andrew Benson should ideally call for a scrum because it's only a free kick. And indeed he does so. SW, I mean, it's been 100 years of tradition, but rugby has changed so much in the last 5 years. It's almost unrecognizable, isn't it, from the time you were playing and indeed when this club started out?
Absolutely. The games change so much. The preparations change so much. I think the shape of the ball and the goal post and maybe the flags and the lines have not changed. But other than that, everything has changed, including media, the spectators, and everything has changed. What will Havelocks do? We see a number 8 break from the base of the scrum. That's a basic number 8 break. It's going across the field. It's taken back now. A lot of red shirts taking him back. He's gone 20 meters sideways, but still has position.
That was Lasindu Ishan making his club debut. He'll find things a little bit tougher than they were in school for him. Always very strong boy though. Science College captain, led his team to a fantastic victory in the knockout tournament. Scavenging for the ball, Nipuna Devinda, but Havelocks managed to control it. Dushmanta Priyadarshana smashing it. Meedin plays at Tamaf Umesh Madhushan here, the Royal second rower. Makes the ball available. He's had a couple of carries and done so well. Dushmanta Priyadarshana once again used as a battering ram in midfield. Meedin. CR was up really quickly, and SW in the commentary box is yelling, use a chip, and he should have, or a little grubber just behind that advancing defensive line, and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, because Shanaka, even if nothing happens in this situation where he used the boot to it, the next time the threes are not going to come off so fast because they won't know whether he's going to use the boot or not. They will just hold their tracks, and that's going to be important when they hold it, because they're coming up so fast in defense, which they should be doing it. But if the chip comes in, and it will take them, their mind is broken into two. You split the defense into two. That's important. Coming back to Len Silva, playing for Havelocks against CR&FC. He took the ball on the left to pass out to Roshan Dean, who was on the wing, and the ball he carried behind his body, and he kept it along that. Chandrashan went right down to Roshan and got Roshan hammered out of the field, and he took the ball behind his back from the left to the right and went straight onto the post. And that's why we keep joking. We play the fool with Chandrashan saying he's still looking for the ball.
It would have been nice to see that in action. Unfortunately, no YouTube, no ThePapare back in the day. Arun Kumar drives his feet. Ratpata spots the opening. Oh, beautiful work by Banu Kananiakara. He's going under the post. Easy does it. And Havelock's just falling off their defense. Andrew Benson missing an easy tackle on Naniakara. And it was created by the numbers that Ratpata had over on his left. He knew that he had to give it out quickly. And Banu Kananiakara, who's crossed over to CR&FC this season, marking his debut with a try. So CR&FC upsetting the host party by scoring a try in scoring the first points of this Centenary match. But that won't matter. I'm sure Havelocks will come back strong, because they have a lot riding on this game, of course. It's their home ground. It's their Centenary. 100 years of celebration here at Havies. As Prince Chamara lines up the conversion attempt, wearing number 9 but playing at fullback. And good to see a lot of the Havelocks greats in the stands. People like Dan Ratnam, who we've seen venturing their way into the open stands here at Havies rather. Lots of the old stalwarts have come back as Chamara makes it 7-0 in favor of the visitors. And one of the oldest rivalries, of course, CR&FC being part of two very traditional rivalries, the Gymkhana Club as well, CR versus CH, and of course the CR versus Havies game is one of the most looked forward to matches. I'm sure this would have been the fixture you guys look forward to even back in the day, SW.
Yeah, I know. Back in the day, CR Havelocks was the match. I mean, people buy tickets 3-4 days prior, and more than the males, you find a lot of females watching this game. Absolutely, it was fantastic. The days, as we see, Thainda Ratpata looking for space, puts it in a beautiful kick right down the line, throw it off. Either Sandun Herat? Lasudisha, big boy. Hopefully this year we will get those things back and have a good, clean season. And may the better side win.
Sure, it will, SW. You're absolutely right about the females. Rohit Rajapaksa finds himself on the touchline, and Ratpata kicks into his hands, but he stays on his feet well. Pramoda is calling for the referee to award a maul, but Rajapaksa manages to get himself down. Dushmanta Priyadarshana. That's a nice offload over the top by Liston Karunatilaka. Here's Sandun. Sandun beating the defender, and he's going to go under the post. Sisi. Well, no, he goes over on the corner flag. Sandun Herat makes his mark. That's something he would have desperately wanted to do. Sri Lanka's 7th winger turning up for his club side, the club side that he has played for since he left St. Peter's. and showing why he's the deadliest winger around in Sri Lanka. The captain of the side scores the first try.
Yeah, Santanu here, I think he should be taken off the field now, Shanaka, if you're thinking about Sri Lankan rugby, because this might pump up for him to run a bit more. And I think he will be taken off because it's because of the Centenary, and there's a trophy awarded by Keith Raymond and his family in memory of their father, Mr. Arthur Raymond, the late Arthur Raymond, who played for the Havelocks and was the president of this club. Of course, you all know that they are the owners of F. Raymond's, and so it's nice of them to donate the trophy and some cash awards in memory of their father, the late Arthur Raymond.
Done some acting with his son, I think, Shannon Raymond, or his cousin. Big family.
Acting? You sure about that?
Very sure, SW. Conversion missed by Kevin Dixon. Recovered from his hamstring injury, and hopefully he will have a good season. Unfortunately, his school season, especially as captain, was stymied a little bit by injury. Lots going on at Bambalapitiya this year, and not allowing Kevin Dixon to have the sort of season that he would have liked to have in the white, blue and yellow of St. Peter's. Injured in the first game, the trophy match against St. Joseph's. Mekalanka promoter, that just went 10 from Ratwata. Dylan De Silva. Here's Chamara joining the line, and some nice hands from CR&FC to Sashan Mohammed. Looks for the inside offload, but can't get it accurately. Yeah. Dylan Soiza. Rahul De Silva probably not playing this match. So will be a very interesting halves combination, SW. One to look for Sri Lanka if we have Rahul De Silva and Tarinder Ratwata playing together. Veeraratne and Marija are getting on, and you never know, these two guys have the intelligence, if they can combine it with the physical strength, to really take Sri Lankan rugby forward as a halves combination.
Yeah, Shanaka, not as a halves combination. Fantastic analyzing of the Rahul De Silva playing with Tarinder, and when we see Fuzzy Marja with Veeraratne, when their days are getting numbered, as we see, is it as Joseph Tyagaraja? Oh, he couldn't keep possession. Just couldn't keep possession. Made a good break. Did the Muhammad Ali sidestepping, but just couldn't keep possession. Couldn't finish it off. But having said that, I mean, combinations like that speaks good for the future. They must be nurtured. They must be sent out of the country, go and play some rugby together, combine it. And this is where the rugby union should come in and say, okay, fine, we have identified your combinations. Keep going. It doesn't matter. Club rugby, yes, we all play club rugby. We love our clubs. But end of the day, it should be national and full stop.
Absolutely, SW. But this whole row, the club versus national rugby row, is not something that is particular only to Sri Lanka. We have seen a lot of times that even in France, or even in the UK, and sometimes even when it comes to the Pacific Islanders who are playing in Europe, there's a huge battle between clubs and countries. So it's something that the IRB has to probably lay down as a rule, or maybe have some sort of guidelines that clubs and teams should follow, clubs and national teams should really follow, because you can't have your best players not playing for the country.
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely. You're spot on. You can't have the best players not playing for the country. They must be allowed. That's their priority. So do that. These boys need a carrot to pay for the country, right? That's a beautiful run by Rayan. Sandhu has been taken off, is it? Wisely, as Havelocks are gaining yard by yard. Mirin offloads a good pass to Rohit Rajapaksa, who's making a run down the flank and coming in support on the wing. As you see, Havelocks recycling the ball, wild pass to the prop forward. You don't give good passes, you give bad passes to prop forward, they'll never catch it because they'll never catch the good pass either.
That's a bit unfair, SW, playing as a prop yourself. You're letting the whole side down. I think it was a flat pass that Dushmantha wasn't really expecting to run onto. But Rajapaksa popping up on the wing, interchanging nicely the inside ball. Lasindu Ishan pointing out the attacking formation to his backs. Arun Kumar at the back of the scrum for CR&FC goes the wrong way but manages to get the ball away. Shamir Fajuddin to his prop forward buddy Malinda Hettiarachchi. Tharindra Ratwata in the pocket finds some space behind Tyagaraja. Kevin Dixon has to come across. And Mekalanka Prabodhas keeps in field. Mekalanka Prabodha goes under the posts. What a fantastic try from Prabodha. Great kick from Tharindra Ratwata right in between the winger and the fullback. Kevin Dixon comes across, thinks that the ball is going out, and Mekalanka Prabodha tiptoes down the line like he's walking a tightrope and breezes under the post. The former Isipathana speedster and Sevens star has scored a fantastic try out of absolutely nothing, SW. So hopefully CR doesn't crash this party.
Yeah, hopefully they won't crash the Havelock Centenary celebration. But having said that, the cardinal rules still follow, the basics still follow. You got to start calling for the ball. What happened there was that both of them looked at each other, and the try scorer saw the ball. That's the main issue, because they didn't call for, they did not, I mean, whoever it is, the fullback did not call it, the winger didn't call it. As we see, the conversion has been successful, and it's not Ratpata who did the conversion, it's Prince Chamara. As we see halftime here, at the Heavy is the Centenary match celebratory match of Havelocks versus CR&FC. 14-5, 14 to CR, and 5 to Havelocks. And so it's half time with lemons. As you see the Air Force band, as they entertain us before, prior to the game, and they are to entertain us at half time. As you see Roy Samaratunga, the former Havelocks keeper, stretching himself.
Very good evening. Welcome back to this live coverage on www.ThePapare.com of the Centenary match under floodlights at Havelock Park. Havelock celebrating 100 years of rugby and 100 years of great tradition here at Havelock Park this evening against their age-old rivals, CR&FC. Unfortunately for the men sitting in the commentary box, SW Chang, and joining us right now is Mr. Dan Ratnam, former stalwart of this great club. CR&FC are leading at the moment, 14 points to 5 at halftime, with Tarindra Ratpatha having a hand in both tries, giving the pass that led to Banu Kananayakkara's try and the kick that led to Mekalanka Pramoda's try. But the captain for Havelocks this year, Sadun Herat, the Sri Lanka winger, scored a try before he was taken off to board the plane this evening to represent Sri Lanka in China in the Asian Sevens. Liston Karunatilaka with the first throw of the second half to Umesh Madhushan, and well won by Havelocks with Ganidhu Disanayaka bustling his way forward in midfield. Dushmanta Priyadarshan, the other prop forward, takes it on. Havelocks seem to have come out with a little bit more intensity and purpose in the second half. Meedin using that grubber that SW was talking about so much in the first half. Looks like they've listened to their former coach and former referee SW, but joining me now is Mr. Dan Ratnam, who played for this club for over 8 years together with his brother Jeff, the Ratnam brothers, synonymous with Havelocks rugby in the early 70s and late 60s, of course, now domiciled in California, but making the long trip here for the centenary celebrations. Good to have you in the commentary box, Dan. What are your thoughts of this wonderfully newly refurbished club, the only club with lights? You must be very proud.
It's pretty good. You know, when we first saw it, we were surprised at the change of this whole grounds here. And I mean, it was long overdue to have for players to play under lights. It's done all over the world, and it's great to come here and watch this game here.
Nishan Pereira getting an offload away, playing on the wing but wearing the number 8 jersey. The former Peter Wright vice captain. Not releasing the tackle player. Banu Kananayakkara guilty of giving a penalty away. And wearing the number 13 jersey is Randita Varnapura, who made himself a nuisance there to win the penalty. But CR Heavies has been really a showpiece of club rugby in the past. Are you a little bit disappointed in the turnout here? It's quite a bit more seating than there would have been in the past, but still not the packed houses you would have been used to.
Yeah, definitely, yes. You see, when you see a CR Havelocks match in the 60s and early 70s, we played to packed houses, you see. And here there are so many vacant seats available, and we didn't have sitting accommodation at that time. People were standing all over the grounds, you see. But it was a fantastic era where most of them are now migrated to other parts of the world. And we have at the moment with us about 40 people from abroad to celebrate these 100 years of Havelocks rugby.
And what's it like seeing those players that you played with all those years ago after, I suspect, quite a long time? You said yourself you've been away for 30 years. What's it like to reminisce and catch up at the clubhouse?
Yeah, some of these guys I have not seen in 40 odd years, you see. So it was great meeting them and talking about good old times. And the worst part of it, we don't feel that 40 years have gone by, as if it was only yesterday or day before we played together. And it was great to meet people like Glenn Van Langenberg, Graham Ludovic, and so many other guys here, you see.
Yeah, it must be great rekindling those old memories. Kevin Dixon goes off on a run and Shamir Fajruddin brings him down. That won't be the proudest moment of Dixon's career, getting caught by Fajruddin, the prop. But Havelock seemed to have started with a little bit more intent. What do you think of the game itself? Dan, you must be a little bit concerned going down to your arch rivals at halftime.
Oh, definitely, yes. And the game on the whole is a bit scrappy. You don't see any like scissors, dummy scissors, miss a man, loops, and other things. I don't think these guys are training enough, you see. So, and that was one of the things that Glenn, Jeff, and I were speaking the other day. The amount of hours we put into practice, and we didn't have lights at that time, and we were all doing jobs, and we had to jump buses and all and come to the grounds. But yet, we made sure that the spectators got their money's worth.
Yes, I was just talking with SW a few moments ago about how the game has changed, Changa, and what Dan just said about things like scissors and loops. It's not something you see very often these days, those tactics employed by hard-running backs. But do you think it's completely out of the game for good, SW?
Yeah, I think Shanaka, because now the game is a bit on the physical, because they could take a cue out of or a leaf out from the rugby league. That's the whole situation, because the rugby league has come in and to the union. It's more combined league and union now because it's more physical.
Still pretty good to watch when you see some talented backs in full flow. And you had a surfeit of them, Dan, during your time. But also on the opposite teams, you had some really classy players that you would have played against, and would have really raised the standard of the game at that time in Sri Lanka.
Oh, definitely, yes. CR&FC had guys like John Burrows, Mike Davis, Candy, people like Changfa, George Jayasena, and of course CR&FC, my good buddy, the late Didacus de Almeida. They were all classic players in their own rights, you see, and we were pushing the hurdle a little more and more to outbid each other. And we were very friendly after our rugby days were over. So we used to meet and have a drink and so on and so forth, but unfortunately a few of them have gone to a better place, and we miss them a lot, you see.
SW, that's one aspect of the game that also has changed, the off-field camaraderie, not as evident as it was perhaps even during your time. And what can be done to change that? Do you think it needs to be changed, or do you think that this is the way professional rugby is going?
Yeah, I think that's right, because having said that, Shanaka, because I don't think during our days we heard a word as called stress. We hardly heard something called stress. So the stress factor has come in now to the social life or their own life as it sees. So you're making a big run down the track, but there's a knock forward by Havelocks, and CR will have the put in. And yes, Shanaka, because the social life is curtailed. At least what they do is they have their social life among their teammates, but not with the teams that they played with. So that's the difference. Those days socials were fantastic, and both teams, didn't matter who won, who lost, but the party went on.
Yeah, that's something we faced a problem with in the recent past. Not even your own team sometimes stay back for the social, especially after maybe even a CR Heavies game. It's difficult to get both teams and benches to stay back and have a good night out. I think that's also partly because coaches are very strict on what they can do on those nights out. Garindu Disanaika being substituted. Trudging off the field, he's played his part, he's carried the ball well and scrummed well for his club. Played very well for his school last year, Isipatana. Title-winning team. Dilan Disoisa feeds. Sasankari Ratna playing at number 8. Tarinder Ratwat, that's a nice gap hit by Sashan Mohammed, but well brought down in the end. Havelock's read it at the last minute, but well enough. And here's Anuradha Herat, or Prince Charmer actually. Nipuna Devinda carries the ball forward, but falls in an awkward position. Ratwata with quick hands inside to Arya Ratna. Lovely line break from him. Superb vision by the former Trinitian. Nipuna Devinda again makes it available. Now here's quick ball for Sia. Quick hands once again from Sashan Mohammed, finding his man. Risky pass though. Dilan trying to borrow through. Needs his forwards to help him. And knocking the ball on with the try line beckoning. That is a cardinal mistake by Bhanuka Nanayakkara, who scored the first try of the game for CR&FC. Shakes his head in disbelief, and that's one of the mistakes you were talking about, Dan, about the scrappiness of the game. And That's something that you hone in your school days, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yes. You see, it depends a lot on the coaches to coach you the proper way. That's a very good example. The guy dropping the ball about a few inches from the line. And so CR&FC have missed another try.
How much of touch do you keep with the local game? Maybe not the club rugby, but just rugby in Sri Lanka in general. I know a lot of you guys that played for Havelocks in the past have migrated and found greener pastures elsewhere. But how much of touch do you keep with the game?
What do you mean with the Havelocks or?
Well, just generally with rugby and particularly with the Havelocks.
Yeah, we follow a lot of rugby over there. In fact, the USA team won the last seven-a-side in London. And every third week in February, we have the International Sevens in Las Vegas, where the best teams come and play. And now the Sevens is not only played in Hong Kong, but played in eight countries throughout the world. And the people who play Sevens rugby do not play 15-a-side rugby at all. It's two different teams altogether now.
Sasanka Ariyaratne goes off the back trying to go on his own against three Havies players, but gets bundled into touch as he should have been. Should have stepped back in field, Ariyaratne. Ishan Noor shows his frustration at his number 8's inability to stay in field. And a defensive line out for Havelocks now. Madhushan at the front. And Ganidu Lakshan at the back, but managing to hold on by the skin of their teeth. Into the pocket it goes, and a big thump by Kevin Dixon, but well taken by Sashan Mohammed, who gives the offload. But the referee spotted an infringement. Closing the gap in the line out, he says. And coming back for the free kick for Havelocks, and they'll gratefully thump this one out to try and get out of jail. So CR not closing that out. They had a good opportunity with Banu Kananyakara dropping the ball on the line and then not being able to put the try to bed. Good kick by Meedin using the screw technique and thumping the ball 50 meters in to touch. Dan, I asked SW this a little while earlier. What's your most memorable moment in a Havelocks jersey?
Oh, well, beating CI is number one. More than anything else. I think more than winning the Clifford Cup. During my 8th season with the Havelocks, we won the cup 3 times. But beating CI was a wonderful feeling. And to meet these guys after the game, people like Ronnie Shockman, Reggie Bartholomew, Bumpy Jasek, who's here with us today, all the way from Australia, Mohan Siam, Didakas de Almeida. Those were the good old days, you see. We fight hard on the field, but after that, we go to the social. I have a wonderful time till the wee hours of the morning. And this type of thing doesn't happen in local rugby at all now. In fact, I was shocked to hear that the players who play rugby now take their dinner packets and go home. And it was shocking to hear that type of thing. You see. But you can't say the game has changed completely because all these guys are playing for money now. They play for Havelocks one season, then the next season they're playing somewhere else, so there's no club loyalty at all. And club life will definitely die in another 8 or 9 years' time. Where at all these events we're having, there are no young people at all. And it's sad to say, and the people who are really enjoying itself are people who played at the club over 40 years ago. So they're having a wonderful time here, and we're thankful to Mr. Lal Silva and Bentley Barsenbeck for organizing this whole thing. And we're really having a good time here.
Well, that's good to know, Dan. And yes, you're right. It is a little bit of a concern that the fellowship around the game is not as much as it should be. And Sri Lanka, of course, doesn't have that let's have a beer after the game culture that a lot of other rugby playing countries do. Dixon thinks about the short one, but goes straight down the throat of Dilan Soiza. Sashan Mohammed asks for it. And now Ratwatta, who's had a wonderful game today. Prince Chamara hitting the line hard. And knocking the ball on is Amila Bandara. SW coming back to the game, it's actually petering out a little bit because Havelock started off the second half well, but haven't been able to string together enough passes to score a try yet.
Yeah, I think the timing, as you said, was, you know, with 6 or 7 of their players, I mean top players, taking wearing the national jersey for the Sevens. As we see Thiagaraja making a break down the right in front. Will he have support to continue? No, he loses position again. Or is his penalty on for a high tackle, says referee. That should have ended up in a try, Shanaka. There is no doubt about that. Keeping position at the tackle situation is very important because you recycle the ball, and that's a great opportunity that Havelock's lost. Once again, I remember he made a similar run, and lost position again. So he is not making that impact at the tackle situation.
Yes, he's a well-conditioned player, got a great step on him, but needs to maintain that upper body strength so that he can withstand the tackle. I thought Prabodha did really well there actually to shadow him and commit him in one direction and then make the tackle. It was high, of course, but still probably saved a try for his team. And Thiagaraja has been one of the few shining lights really in the Havelock's three-quarter line. Got into taking that well, but the line out sacked by CR, who drive them back. The referee needs to use it now. And it's available there for List and Karunathilaka, who will pick and go, doubling up with his teammate Lakshan. So Havelock's employing the pick and go tactic in there, 22. Umesh Madhushan tries to go on his own. He needs to go with 1 or 2 of his teammates if he can. Show and go. And the Heavies win the penalty again. CR&FC infringing offside. And Meedin takes it quickly. Runs straight into Dylan Pereira. And the referee says play on. There's a huge open side. A massive hit on Listan Karunathilaka. But I think the tackler came off worse there. We'll tell you who it is in a moment. There might be a concussion. He went down pretty heavily. Yes, it was a big head clash, SW, and it's good to see that the IRB has introduced the head bin, as it's been called as well, where players can go off and get tested for a concussion like the previous blood bin. Better late than never to introduce that rule.
Yeah, I'm sure the head bin is a good thing because you have to look after the safety of the players. That's number one. The rules keep changing. The laws keep changing. Is to actually the safety of the players. That's why the laws keep, the lawmakers keep looking at the safety. And the player of Havelock's team, prop forward, he's Liston. I think he must have known this before the game, and that's why he would have had. Yeah, he's walking off, but he would have known this because he's actually having a headgear. His hair is acting as a protective headgear. So it's going to be another penalty for Havelocks because I think they didn't retrieve 10 meters. As you see the CR prop, they are refusing to leave the field because he's feeling concussed too. So they're not sin bin, they're not blood bin, but they are in head bin. So we got all the dustbins around, eh?
Kokila Samada Peruma is the man who came off the worst in that clash with Listan Karunathilaka. Marco, as he is called, brother of Shane Samada Peruma, as Shamir Fajuddin returns to the field. He would have thought his day was over. And there's nothing worse than a prop forward who's put his feet up being called back. Drop kick from Havelocks to get to 8 points, 14 points to 8. So they've put themselves in a position to win the game. If they score a goal, it'll be 15 points to 8. I'll tell you who kicked that penalty in just a moment. They've got a new fly half wearing the number 21 jersey, Havelocks. Obviously missing Dulaj Pereira, who's not quite fit, and he's part of the 7th training squad. Hiranta Pereira, also another option at fly half, is part of the 7th squad. Danush Karanjan is another player who's not playing. Captain Sadun Herat scored a try and then went off the field. And Sudarshan Mututantri, also the former captain of Havelocks and current captain of the 7th side. Also, Shehan Patirana, although he's not in the Havelocks colours this season, is a player that may have been on the park today. He's also with the 7th team, so a severely depleted heavy side, but so that's the unfortunate story for Havelocks. And you know, some of these players who have visited from abroad, as we see Sashan Mohammed touching down. A good try from Sashan, beautifully weighted kick also on the bounce. One bump, one hand, and Sashan Mohammed fell over for the try. Beautifully constructed try again. And I can't say enough about the CR fly half. Tarinder Ratwata has been absolutely outstanding. Dan, I'm sure you may have seen his father play before you left for the States, Sashan Ratwata for Trinity. But this lad is looking like he means business.
No, I have seen him play because I'm very friendly with his. I'm very friendly with his grandparents. When I go up to Kandy, I go and visit them, and I went for about 2 or 3 games that Trinity played last year, and I tried to convince them to send him to the Havelocks, but I think the whole family is to play for CR or something like that, and they said no way, he has to play for CR, and I think he just returned from New Zealand. He went for some training camp in New Zealand, and he came back only about 3 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, he has been in New Zealand, and he's studying there as well, I believe, SW, and it's pretty obvious when a guy has that foreign exposure, the approach to the game completely changes, and you can see how Ratwata has lifted his game from Trinity College to now.
Yeah, Shanak, he's come good. But having said that, having played for Trinity, he has common sense on the field to scan the field. Now, this is what the Havelock's number 10 should have done. As I said earlier, they have a lot of space in the corner, and just put the ball behind, and you get the bounce. You get the bounce, maybe not onto you, but maybe away from you, but once, twice, thrice, because the 3 quarters are coming up so fast that, you know, and you stop that. And you definitely saw that, try in the making, and he sensed it, and he executed it. And, of course, he had all the support by Mohammed, another Trinitian, to finish it off.
Big bust up the middle from the new man on the park for CR&FC, swiveling out of the tackle from the kickoff and making good 40 meters. Here's Nipuna Devinder, CR with their tails up now. Ratwata dummies and gives it instead outside, and Banu Kananakara leaves the ball behind again. Shanal Veerasekara was the man who made that run in the second row, and we're seeing Nalin Kumar also coming on to the wing for CR&FC in place of the try scorer Sashan Mohammed, and we have a new man at fullback as well for CR. Rehan Silva, the Isipatana fullback from earlier this year. R.R. Silva, as he known by his initials. Lasindu Ishan breaking away from the scrum, and really not a good kick by the replacement fly half. Under serious pressure, but illegally so, because CR had infringed. They've been caught with their line offside a few times, CR, and this is not an offense you get to see in international rugby, SW. Very, very rarely do you get a defensive line being called offside. So that's a discipline issue that Sri Lankan rugby has to address as a whole.
You got to point that the 3 quarters offside is a crucial aspect here, because even if you see the spectators, they only have one thing: they scream and scream, 3 quarters offside, 3 quarters offside. And I think we got to start addressing some different issues about more than the 3 quarters being offside. If they are coming up fast, I think the number 10 has to deal with it more than the referee, by keeping the opponent as visit. Anuradha the kicks this time straight into Varnapura's hand. Varnapura little chip. The former police winger did well to carry the man over the touchline. Shanaka, yes, as I said before, even the spectators scream. Their main common screaming is the 3 quarters offside over the years and years. And I think, to me, the number 10, as I said earlier, should deal with it before the referee does.
Yes, it is a common refrain. Line offside has been screamed for years now. Shanal Veerasekara winning the line out ball, stealing it in fact. Big bust up the middle by the number 19 for Havelocks. That's Joan. Havelocks winning themselves a penalty so they can get within 10 points if they kick this, but Nipuna Devinda is the man who looks like he will go for touch. Prasad Devinda, in fact. He's looks a bit of a far cry from the days he used to play for Isipatana. Was a very talented fly half, but has put on a few pounds. SW, what were you feeding him at Police last season?
I just don't know what he was fed on, but certainly he doesn't look like a number 10. He looks more like a front row forward now. And you're talking about pounds, I think I'll go on to the kilos.
Havelocks winning that line out, and here's a nice rolling maul constructed for the first time in this game. Dushmanta Priyadarshana goes off the back. He's been one of their best forwards today. Have to pick up and go. They need quick ball heavies here. Meedin ushering his forwards. Here's Devinda, manages to get the offload away, but too close to the touchline there. Dan, you think your team has it in them to come back?
I think so. I think they got a penalty about 3 or 4 feet from the goal line now, and they're going to take a short tap, and hopefully something will happen here. Yes, they got the ball, and
spinning out of one tackle was the Havi's ball carrier. Meedin waits. Needs his forwards to carry this one more time, I think. Yes, Ranga Pereira, I believe, taking it forward. Should keep it close instead of trying to go out wide, but they do, and Devinda tries to go under the post. A good run from the fly half. Ball went back, says the referee, so well done from the Havis to hold it up there. And it went loose. Nobody was offside, and now Ratpatta has the numbers. Shanal Veerasekara needs to cut inside. Nalin Kumara does so eventually. Good rucking by Varnapura, but Vasabha Senarath comes away with it now. And they need to get back and organize themselves in defense. The Havelocks, who are looking tired. A long ball over the top from Ratpatta. Rehan Silva, but that was a forward pass. Megalanka Prabodha looking for his second try, but the whistle has long since gone. And Kevin Dixon will punt this one back. So first real mistake we've seen from Ratpatta with men over on the left. And that's probably where this game has been won by CR&FC thus far, because the halves combination has been much better in the red shirts and the pink and chocolate jerseys, because it's a makeshift combination really for Havelocks. Usually play with Kavindu Costa and Dulaj Pereira combining. The former Isipathanian and the former Pete Wright, really talented pair. But this time, not having the luxury. He working the short side for the first time. Havelocks are now getting away with it. They need to keep that ball in hand, recycle it. Good counter-rucking by Havelocks. And they've won the penalty, because it seemed like Sia had got that ball, but well protected there by the Havies. They've taken the short tap now. Dushmanta Priyadarshana goes again. Kanindu Lakshan playing volleyball. Really dangerous, but the referee might pull out a yellow card here, SW, that were not 10 meters. But he's given them the knock-on instead, so a good scrum to have. If they can get a goal, do you think we still have a match here?
Well, I doubt it, because the clock must be ticking towards the full time. 21 points to 8. Even if they get a goal, that's 21 points to 15. And the way Havelocks are playing, it's looks very dicey that they will come back for the second try.
Well, I think the Havelock supporters, especially those of you like Dan and Jeff who have traveled so far, shouldn't get themselves too down, because this is far from the Havelock's A side here. And CR&FC almost at full strength. Only Kanchana Ramanayaka not around for CR&FC. Heavy's picking and going. They need to keep this nice and close, and well picked up again. Shanal Veerasekara has been a revelation since he came onto the field. Was hit there, hard there in a no arms, had pretty high tackle. Referee was right in front of it. But Waves play on. He's down. And Ratwatha beautifully picked up there in one hand. And now they have numbers out wide. Amila Bandara. Oh, he should have given that pass earlier. And now Bhanuka Nanayakara spinning out of a tackle. Varnapura tries to hold on, but doesn't manage to, and that's a good pass away to Nalin Kumara, who tries to get away from the attentions of Nishan Pereira, who finally brings him down. And the penalty goes Sia's way. So it has been mistakes inside their own 22 from Havies, and they have to send this ball out now. Rehan Silva gives it to Nipuna Devinda, who will go over in the corner. And you can see what this means to the CR team, who have been second best in the recent past to Havelocks, and they wouldn't care that it's pretty much a depleted side they're beating. Dan, I'm sure that the tables are turned. You said beating CR was your crowning glory, and it looks like the CR boys will be buying the drinks this evening.
Oh, yeah, most probably it's so sad to see the way the Havelocks are playing. But as you have been saying right along, that we are playing with a depleted side. But that's no excuse. We should have replacements all the time, you see. Right through our careers, we had always 2 or 3 guys who could have fitted into the sides. But I don't think we have that type of players at the moment. And one thing I want to add, it's a great pity that these guys, during our time, the planting district had so many white guys playing. Like Dicko had the famous Bees, Bean, Breton, Bouswell and Bauer. And to play against them was a privilege, you see. So it's so sad that the boys now don't have that opportunity of again playing. And the foreign talent we get here is not the best players who come over here to play in Sri Lanka, you see. because being in the States so long, I see a lot of rugby over there, and there are a lot of foreign players who play for American colleges over there, and there are a lot of colleges playing rugby in the US. But it's a slow catching game because there's no money involved, unlike baseball, basketball, and ice hockey, and so on.
Well, that pretty much brings us to the end of this centenary encounter between Havelocks and CR&FC being played for the Arthur Raymond trophy. Irshad Carter brings an end to the game, which CR win by 26 points to 8. That won't matter, of course, because it's all about the occasion, not the result of the game. Celebrating 100 years of brilliant tradition of rugby. Here are some great stalwarts from the previous years of Havelocks, down all the way from abroad, and many coming from all parts of the country as well, to make sure that they turn out and celebrate what has been a fantastic 100 years of contribution to this town, to Havelock town, and of course to the country as well, in terms of some of the products that they have produced here at the Park Club. Dan Ratnam, thank you very much for joining us, and SW Chang, also thanks very much for being in the commentary box and talking to us about life at your old club.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Shanaka. Thank you, Papare. And I think let's continue the party.
Indeed, we will, SW. I'll have my first beer on you.